In baseball, everything can change with a single pitch. And for the Yankees, that moment may have arrived. It was a special night in the Bronx. The first of 3 battles against their eternal rival, the Boston Red Sox. Fans had barely settled into their seats when the game erupted. Aaron Judge looked like he was playing on another planet, collecting 3 hits and leading as always. Jazz Chisholm Jr., the recent addition, proved he can still be a game changer in this October chase. His 3-run homer sent the crowd into a frenzy. And then came Anthony Volpe, the 23-year-old shortstop, symbolic heir to a lineage that includes Derek Jeter, stepped up to the plate and smashed a 2-run home run in the first inning. The Yankees were already up 5-0 against Walker Buehler, and the Bronx was electric. It was a dominant, almost poetic performance. But baseball has a cruel way of testing even the most perfect moments. In the second inning, Volpe came up to bat again. Another showdown with Buehler. And this time, fate took a turn. A high, inside pitch, not out of control, but it struck him directly on the elbow. The sound of the impact echoed. He went down. The crowd froze. The entire stadium paused for a moment. The Yankees dugout stirred. Head trainer Tim Lentic sprinted out. Boone watched from a distance, perhaps trying not to escalate the tension. But in that moment, the feeling was unanimous. Fear. Volpe left the game shortly after, officially as a precaution. But everyone knew there was more behind that careful choice of words. And it was Brian Hawk, and from MLB.com, still playing at a high level, delivered the update represents nobody wanted to read. Anthony Volpe exited the game with an elbow contusion. The medical team immediately began a full round of tests, X-rays and CT scans, to determine the extent of the injury. No visible fracture was found at the time, but in situations like this, time becomes the enemy, and the silence from the medical staff only fuels the uncertainty. The most painful part of it all is that Volpe was on the rise, big time. Since May 12th, he had only hit 3 home runs, including tonight's, but his production went far beyond power. His batting average with the bases loaded stood at .300, with an OPS of .786. More than stats, these were crucial contributions. Volpe is the kind of player who wins in the details. With a chase rate of just 20.7%, he ranks among the top 10% most disciplined hitters in MLB. He picks the right pitches. He doesn't panic. And when needed, he delivers. That's why the impact of his potential absence goes far beyond a statistic. Losing Volpe right now would be an emotional and strategic blow. He's a quiet engine of an infield that's already dealt with inconsistency, injuries, and questions. While Gleyber Torres struggles for rhythm, LeMahieu continues his physical recovery, and names like Oswaldo Cabrera fluctuate between brilliance and disappearance. Volpe has become a symbol of stability. On top of that, his chemistry with the rest of the team is evident. He breathes the Bronx. He wears the pinstripes like someone born to do it, literally. And now, with the Yankees in the middle of a fight for the top of the American League, this kind of loss isn't measured in war. It's measured in leadership, in balance, in presence. That's why the Yankees dugout went so quiet after the incident. Boone tried not to show alarm, but Volpe's absence affected the group. You could see it. Even with the team leading 8-1, the energy had shifted. So if you root for this team, if you live baseball like we do, subscribe to the channel now. Leave a like and comment below. Stay strong, Volpe. Let's show the Bronx community stands united in any circumstance, because this moment could be decisive. And how the Yankees respond to it, on and off the field, will say a lot about what to expect in October. And now comes the inevitable question. What will the Yankees do if Anthony Volpe is out for weeks? Who takes over at shortstop? And how does this affect the front office's plans for the rest of the season? And while the crowd held its breath for Anthony Volpe, a new story was beginning to unfold in the heart of the Bronx. A story with less youthful shine and more behind-the-scenes tension. A storyline that mixes expectation, wear and tear, and perhaps an inevitable goodbye. The name? Marcus Stroman. While the spotlight was on Volpe, the young, fast-rising shortstop who had just blasted a 2-run homer before being hit by a pitch on the elbow, a quieter move was being crafted behind the curtain. Marcus Stroman, 2-time All-Star, experienced and outspoken pitcher, was wrapping up a 40-pitch session on the Yankee Stadium mound. He was coming back, and by all accounts, he was also on his way out. Publicly, the tone is one of caution and normalcy. Internally, according to journalist Max Goodman in Athlon Sports, the plan is already in motion. The Yankees are open and perhaps determined to trade Stroman before he even officially returns from his knee injury. It's not just a medical issue. It runs much deeper than that. Stroman arrived in New York with a strong personality, the demeanor of an ace, and a respectable track record. But from the beginning, it was clear he wouldn't accept a bullpen role. He was a starter or nothing. And in baseball, when you take that stance, everything starts to revolve around performance. With injuries hitting Garrett Cole, Luis Gil, and Clark Schmidt, Stroman earned a spot in the rotation early in the season. This was his chance. But in 9 1/3 innings, he gave up 12 runs. Inconsistency, lack of rhythm, and for many, a frustration that echoed both in the clubhouse and the stands. With Schmidt returning, despite still playing at a high level quickly, represents the opportunity vanished. And the problem is that Stroman cannot be optioned to AAA. He either returns to the rotation, or the Yankees must find him a new home. And this contractual detail makes everything more urgent. If he reaches 140 innings pitched, an automatic trigger activates a clause guaranteeing him $18 million in 2026. For a team already managing a heavy payroll and delicate decisions, that could become a burden they might not be willing to carry. And this is where the silent dilemma the Yankees are facing comes into play. Stroman wants innings. He wants to show value, whether to renew or to attract a new deal in free agency. But the Yankees want stability, not drama. And at this point, every inning he pitches could cost millions next year. That's why a trade is more than logical. It's inevitable. The possibilities are broad. Teams like the Colorado Rockies, Detroit Tigers, or Washington Nationals might take the chance, whether out of need or marketing perspective. These are teams that need presence, need a name, and Stroman, with his media-friendly personality, could be an anchor. On the other hand, there are contenders who might see him as a reliable fourth or fifth arm in the rotation, a depth piece for October. Even if his relationship with the Yankees front office is strained, in a different environment, he could provide real value. But trading Stroman doesn't solve everything. What happens if Volpe has to sit out? And what if Stroman is gone and Gil isn't 100%? This is a thin line the Bronx is walking now, between the recent past and the choices that will define what's next. Aaron Boone knows it. Brian Cashman knows it. And the fans, even more so. The Yankees season seemed solid, with Aaron Judge playing at MVP level as always, and the offense finally clicking. But all it takes is 2 players, one injured and one about to leave, for the atmosphere to change dramatically. Baseball is cruel because it demands tough decisions in silence. In the end, Marcus Stroman might leave the Bronx without ever truly belonging. And Anthony Volpe, who has already faced so much skepticism in his short career, may now face his biggest challenge: staying healthy and consistent in a lineup that is increasingly dependent on him. The question hanging over the Bronx is brutal in its simplicity. Who leaves first? The future symbol due to injury, or the veteran under fire due to a business decision? And beyond that, with Stroman on his way out, who will take his place in the rotation? Do the Yankees already have a name in mind? Are there talks underway for a replacement? And more. Who is truly willing to take on Stroman, his track record, his contract, and his personality, in exchange for a gamble over the coming weeks? If you want to know which pitchers the front office is watching, who could be the next to wear pinstripes, and what move might redefine the course of the 2025 season, subscribe to the channel now, turn on the bell, and drop a like. Comment below, would you trade Stroman now, or wait until the deadline? and more. Who should be the next to arrive in the Bronx? See you soon. Because in baseball, just like in life, every decision is a gamble, and the Yankees are playing high stakes.